Hey, performance reviews where I give you the review from the technician's point of view. I just wanted to note in post-production, I noticed that the microphone was off and we were using a new microphone setup for this video, so I apologize. And it was really cold in my shop, so I am sniffling a little bit in this video. So again, apologies for that, and let's continue with the video. Thanks for watching.
Well, I bought myself a rolling coffee table. It's actually not that big, but this came up for sale on Craigslist, and there was no way I was going to pass a SEBO D4 without picking it up and doing a review for you guys. But first, it needs a spa day. This one, yeah, it's got some battle marks on it, so we're going to go ahead and clean that up. And if you couldn't tell, in my shop it is 47 degrees, and I've had the heater on most of the day, so it's fucking cold in here. Open this up. We'll show you what's inside there. Well, that's trash. I'm not going to use that. And it just looks like, normal stuff, like they've just used it, I don't see any abnormal wear or anything. But it is dirtier than I would like, especially with things like that. And let's see, we don't have the upholstery tool. It's not a huge deal. But it looks like the dusting brush was never used, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, pretty happy with it. I've already turned it on. I know it works. So we're just going to strip this part. I already have a video on the ET1, so you guys can go check that out. So let's focus on doing the body. Now, full disclaimer, I've never actually opened one of these before, so we're going to learn together. But if I had to guess, it's probably like any other SEBO in that there's a few screws, and we're going to start by taking the Airbelt off, which if you're not familiar with is this clip back here. And these Airbelts are replaceable if need be. I personally, once this comes apart, I might not be replacing this. This is probably just going to get washed by me because I don't see any reason to replace it, but they are replaceable if need be. Just like this filter is probably going to get replaced. All right. That's all easy peasy. And then the styrofoam just comes apart in the same manner too. So that's all that. And then when I opened it up, I spied some T20s in here. So let's start with them, and then we'll go on to some of the other parts of this a little bit later. And again, this is the first time I've taken this particular model apart. So if I struggle or there's some funky editing, that's why. All right. Let's see. Looks like there's some screws in the back that are going to come out as well. Oh, that's all very, very nice and SEBO-y. SEBO-y award. It's very German, this machine. All right. It looks like. Yep. I couldn't ask for more. As far as easy access to the machine. Oh, I guess I should pull the other filter off too and look in there. That looks like it needs to be changed. We'll put that in that pile. Everything else looks very normal. You can see some carbon dust in there. All right, I suspect everything will just pull apart. Now, I could be completely wrong. Again, having never taken one of these apart. It would seem to, oh, I can see a screw. Oh, I can see a screw right here. Let's gently, because I would prefer not to have to separate any more parts than I need to. that gave me a little bit more room to work with. So that's the... It's like there's going to have to be a middle screw in here the way this is made. Alright, so there's that. Everything else just quickly disconnects. Wow. Isn't that cool? It's not every day you see this. Wow. Okay. That's neat. I'm thoroughly impressed by the construction of this. More so than when I first saw it years ago. And it looks like the lid just pops off here, so we're going to try popping the lid off and see what happens right here. Looks like if I do that, maybe not. I would like to separate these two parts, but maybe not. So, yeah, you do anything you need to do right now. There's the cord rewind. It's like there's got to be cord rewind. I wanted to take the tension off that. Everything else looks just very on point in SEBO. The air diffuser over here is very unique and cool. Again, it's a shame the power button is so scratched on this one. Maybe I can buff that clean here in a bit. But that should, assuming there's not a dot. Oh, okay. There's some multifaceted things going on here. Come on, get out of there. It would appear. Yep. All right, that cord reel just lifts off. That's incredibly easy. And it looks like the Trizac vacuum. Oh, this is all right. This is interesting. So the cord reel self-vacuums through here. So it pulls in air from here, pulls in the air from the cord reel, pulls it over the Trizac in the motor to cool it, and then into the motor. And that, all right, that is neat. Damn, who thought of that? It's just fucking genius. That is perhaps one of the coolest things. Just gonna. Oh, I don't even need to mark it with a marker. It's already nicely labeled for me. Let's just pull that apart then. All right. Now I want to pull the circuit board off so I can wash the rest of this. So I'm looking at it. I see a Phillips, and it would appear that the power button has to come off here somehow. If it's any different. This is all very, very strange territory. Yeah, this one's got a spot for the Torx to go through on this side too. I wonder if what we're supposed to do. Oh, come on. Yeah. Wonder if what I'm supposed to do is this. And then the board comes from the other side. Maybe there's a screw or something. Let's take a look. And everything so far is pretty much the same screw, which I like. And this is all molded. The diffuser-rama. Just get under there and wedge those out. Maybe not with that. Yeah, maybe with that. Yeah. Oh, and there's clips on the back side too. That's kind of... All right, there we go. There's that. Oh, look at that little motor for this big old canister. That's no different than like a SEBO Felix motor. It looks like. I don't know, it looks a little different. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. Look at that little motor. All that. All right, little SEBO motor. Let's see who made it. I don't see any markings on him. Car brushes look like they got hot at some point. We'll clean that up here in a minute. Oh, that's so cute. Then we got our rubber piece. So this can be washed as a whole. I'm not concerned about that. Yep. There we go. And there are the two screws. Which like I said, I knew there were some screws holding that in there. All right, this all makes a lot more sense. So the daughter board can come off. And now I can put this in the dishwasher and clean him up. I can probably polish him up now. Take those scratches off. And now we have our one Phillips screw on the machine. Holding the board assembly down. There we go. Looks like the switch is integrated into the circuit board. The circuit board it's not stabilized in epoxy. It's a very, very basic double layer board. It looks like maybe triple layer. It looks like double layer. Nothing special that. Probably clean out the Trazak area. Make sure that's nice and dust free. So, yeah, I think that's about it. This is the strangest thing I've ever pulled out of a vacuum part. This looks like it should be like a headdress or something like this. When this is, we'll have to have some fun with this when it's off. So that's how we pull apart a Sibo D4. All this stuff is now going to go in the dishwasher for the most part. Looks like the dishwasher is done doing its thing. Oh, that looks a lot better, definitely a lot cleaner. And occasionally I have people ask me questions about putting machines in the dishwasher and like, do I really do this? Yes, I really do this. This dishwasher's sole purpose is for cleaning vacuums. That's why it's down here in my basement. Everything came out really nice and clean, including this guy. So let's let those dry overnight. All right, I'm putting this lid back together and it's really cool, really simple, but this is how it goes. So the wire goes around like this, and this twists and uses the flexible bit of this wire with this double insulation to move the swivel neck on here, rather than making like electrical fingers and stuff, which are much more prone to failure. This is a very simple, elegant solution for that. The other thing I thought was cool was the bag check. So we have the bag check sensitivity right here / relief valve. They're two in the same. And this is loose in here. There is a spring guide under here, but that, once you put this on, and yeah, once you put that on, now everything's in place. And then this cover is going to go over that, like so. We're going to put the screws in, but there is an adjustment for your bag sensitivity right here. I originally thought this was a separate relief valve, but it is just bag sensitivity. Very cool stuff, very elegant. And then the lid of this, as you can see, is some sort of resin reinforced, material. If you listen here, yeah, you heard that sound. That's not the ABS plastic. This is really tough stuff. So again, super cool from SEBO to see all this. All right, so let's find the screws. Oh, the other thing I thought was interesting is this machine uses the same screws everywhere. That's kind of been real handy when I'm trying to figure out how to put together a new machine I've never done before. If all the screws are the same, I don't have to worry about much as a technician. that's a really nice thing that SEBO did. Very considerate for us vacuum techs. With this glass-filled stuff, this one's not brittle or anything because the machine's really, really new, but it is the sort of thing that I would traditionally be very careful with, and I am just using a regular screwdriver because I'm not gonna be careful with that. And I think I'll just tune that to about how it was. Well, I'll tune that accordingly. Now this, again, everything on this machine is just overbuilt, overthought out in really great ways. So I'm not going to put this cover on right now. I'm going to do this piece last, which has 2 screws that go in on the side. I'm actually going to put everything else together and get this wire sorted through there, and then we'll probably do this part last because I'm going to tune the bag gauge. Well, we're going to start putting the main body part back together. As always, I've put a little bit of pledge on the rubber pieces. Again, forgive me if I have to edit this later or put in a different step, because again, this is not something I've ever taken apart before. But a lot of this stuff is pretty self-evident with them, which is what I like. It's amazing that this big machine has this small motor. I was just looking at it compared to, let me grab it. Here's a Miele motor that was made 20 years earlier. It's twice the size. Anyways, this has twice the fins, so, and probably spins a little bit faster, so that's why they're able to get away with that. Put that on there. Just amazing piece of engineering. And you know, the Europeans are ahead of us in terms of vacuum technology over here in the States, because they've had to be more energy efficient. You know, not really a huge fan of some of the regulations they've imposed, but it is interesting that that has driven some sort of technology to be more energy efficient. You know, who would think that vacuums would need to be more energy efficient, but I guess they do. They're doing it, or they think they do. So this diffuser is just too funny. So the diffuser is, it's all like clipped into place. Make sure to line everything up. Probably line the back side of this up first. There's long ass clips that just need to, come on. And the diffuser is not made out of the same plastic. It's like a blow mold, you know, very flexible plastic, which probably gives some sort of sound deadening effect as well, having this so flexible. There you go. So give it a little bit of elbow grease and voila, it's back into place. It's just incredibly cool the way this machine's made. All right, let's start putting our motor screws in. As always, we'll do a torquing pattern when we tighten them up. Excellent, we got the motor in there. You can see the motor right there, how small it is. You can see where the air is diffused around here. All right, let's see. I got some other bits around here. Excuse me while I mix my SEBO parts up. All right, we got this thing, the circuit board, and the cord rewind. Oh, I accidentally got some polishing rouge on the cord rewind. And there's 40 feet of electrical cord. When we put this back together, I'll probably clean this. All right, I think the board has to go on next. Or you know what needs to go on? I took this dingus off. All right, well, the dingus spring's in there, and I put just a little bit of grease in there just to make it nicer. And then I took it out in the order, but there is this washer screw that was in here, so we'll put him in as well. All right, so there's what the button presses on. Oh, I guess the dingus rubs up against this too. Just a little bit of grease on that. Eliminates like weird crackly noises. I also put a little bit of grease around this as well, off camera. So you know what I'm doing here. All right, now let's put the brains of the operation back in here. And one of the only Phillips screws in the whole bit, other than these, was this guy right here. Now, I don't know why, but he's got his own personal Phillips screw that wasn't used anywhere else, so we'll put him in. All right, and then there's another one of these, just a regular screw like in the rest of the machine, that is holding this in place. All right. Now, upon trying to figure out how all this came apart, I took some things out that didn't need to come out, like this clip and stuff like that. Then this just kind of sits on here, plugs in. Getting really nice Molox connections everywhere, like no complaints. Just really good construction overall. Is that where that was? I don't think that's where that was. That might be to something else. So we have this guy who sits in here. Let's first of all give him some, just wipe him down. But this guy that sits down here, and he interacts with these in some way. Yeah, again, just looking at how this interacts, just a little bit of grease there. Again, do not go overboard on that. Very little. Goes in there. And you can type Morse code with that. All right, well, I got all that together. Now the cord rewind goes in here. And the wires are labeled black and white on this part, by the way, for clicking these guys in. Again, love SEBO. They're fucking amazing when they do shit like this. And then this, you just want to make sure it's plugged in there when you do that. And there you go. Now we can put that screw in. Ah, really super innovative stuff on that. That is just, it's freaking neat. And then this is, like I said, this dingus is to rewind this. And if your cord reel is sad, you can give it one more wrap around, which is what I'm gonna do. There's even a little finger in there for that wire spring. All right, that's much happier. All right. One of the other things I noticed that was peculiar was that this guy and this screw seems to be shorter than most of the other screws by very, very little. But this guy holds this wire in right here. And if you want to know exactly when your machine was made, this will have the date code. This one was first month of 2014. It's 5 years old, so just out of warranty. Then this is going to go on the top cover, and like I said, we'll deal with that last. All right, well, I got that all straightened out. We got the cable all lined up. Let's put everything back together. Now that makes sense. And we're gonna connect that guy right there. All right. All that looks good. Make sure the cord moves freely, which it does. And this should all just slide back together. And this pin, oh, I see where those pins were. So whatever's the longest is what's going on here next. The short ones are not. Or are they all exactly the same? No, they are all exactly the same. I'm retarded. Don't demonetize me, Susan, for that. All right, we'll get that in. All right, we got 2 screws there. Those are maybe the first 2 I took out. And don't forget this little guy right here. Bingo. That's all coming along very nicely. All right, we're gonna, now at this point is the time when you put the SEBO bag, the genuine bag in. I know it seems kind of counterintuitive, but you want the lid to be able to close, and these bags are massive. Well, I seem to remember them being bigger. They're Henry size bags. Anyway, so there's the bag dock right there, molded in there. So I'm gonna need to close this, and that's why I'm doing this, in case you're wondering. And I'll put a link below in this video to the supplies for this, so that it's easy to find if you do happen to come across and work on one of these yourself one day. All right, it would appear that this just kind of goes in like this. Yeah, there's marks from everything being right there. Now here's the weird part. We had these pins, and these pins, they go in right here. There you go. So there's one, and I'm sorry I bumped the mic there. So we'll have to open this up, put him in just like so. So there is how that's all going together. Now, make sure you have these lined up. Those guys, they look like they just kind of live happily right there. I used a flathead screwdriver to push the wires down out of the way into their little homes over here. So now the machine's good, it's on. I should be able to plug it in and it should work. Put the Airbelt on, and you'll see that this kind of lines up You want to do it how I'm doing it, side to side. When you do, and there's a spot for it to tuck in right here. And you'll notice it exhausts through here, not through this section. Despite some misnomers about that. And the pantyhose part, coworker, he named this thing the pantyhose. I know it's called the belt air or air belt, or I know what the part is actually called, but he nicknamed it that, and that is stuck in my head for years. So big shout out to Mr. Steve-O. All right, the last part after you get the pantyhose on is just the clip here. And he just clips on like that. Boom. All right, it's time to put the filter in place. Or the filters, I should say. We're gonna put multiple ones in place here. And this top one's very peculiar. It's one of the reasons why the bag can be filled as far as it can. Sucking through the top like this is fucking ingenious. And I am so glad that they did this. It really makes a lot of sense at the end of the day how this filter is put into place. Even though it's not the easiest filter change, but renewing your bag compartment gasket like this, especially in dry climates like where I live, where this sort of thing can rot, really keeps performance top notch. It does use a little bit more raw materials though. So if you're one of those who complains about the price of everything, you might not like that. Now the other thing we're gonna put together is the filter. And he just goes in like that. And you give him kind of like this little bit of a twist and he's in. Okay. All right, I believe I've tuned the bag check indicator properly. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have a service manual in front of me. And I don't know, it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm not calling SEBO. I don't think Lenny would appreciate that. SEBO's actually, SEBO USA, I guess, is local to my area, or at least to my state. They're about 12, 14 miles from my house. All right, well, we're going to put this on and hope this is the correcto mundo way. And if not, we'll take it back off. This has these clips that you pop these clips and it makes that sound, which makes me jump every time, but it's a-okay. All right, I wanted you all to be able to see on its side just where these screws went. This is the most overbuilt canister that's probably still in production. I love it. It's absolutely brilliant. All right. So that is how that comes on. Oh, fuck. I got a little bit of grease on the pantyhose. Wipe any excess grease off, folks. All right. I love this button. This panel gap here is a real shame. I don't know why this one has it. I've never seen one that has panel gap like that. But it does. I now check my microfibers to make sure there's nothing stuck to them. Quick edit. You want to just press right here. I didn't do that earlier. That took care of that. Well, that is how we do that, folks. If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up. Comment below if you have one of these. I'd love to hear from you. Beautiful. Just how all that works. And this gap doesn't matter because the gasket actually sits here. This is just the coolest machine I think I've got in my collection so far. And to think I might get rid of it. Gosh darn, it's way too beautiful.
Well, thanks for watching. Hit that bell notification so you don't miss our latest videos. Check out one of these other videos here and have a wonderful day.